welcome to Connect to Success with me, Ashey Owens, 12:30 on Thursdays during your lunch break on RVN TV. I am your host again, Ashey Owens. I just like to say my name. And I'm here with the lovely and talented Miss Nicole Hallberg. Thank you so much for being here, number one. Number two, you and I have known each other longer than a lot of the guests that I have on the show,
Really?
Just because we're both PowerMatch members.
Really?
Shout out to Sarah. But really excited that you're here because you got your hair and makeup done.
Oh my God, I was so excited.
So great.
I've done that exactly one time, and it was the day I got married.
Ah!
So I was on the phone with them last night with
Yeah.
Jennifer Mila. She did an incredible
Super
job.
fancy job. Yeah.
Not to be like, oh, I'm gorgeous. But I'm on the phone with her. I was like, listen, I need to warn you that my hair is like 3
Dude,
feet
your
long.
hair is super long.
Yeah.
I love it.
I
I
was like,
love it.
Please be prepared for this when I show up. If I need to come early, I'll do it. I made a hairdresser cry one time because I unclipped it, and she was like,
No.
that's more than I realized.
Life
Okay.
changing.
She might not be hairdressing anymore. I think I
Shocked her into it.
So I'm on the phone like, yeah, so to do my hair and makeup, and my husband looks up from the couch like,
What
are you doing tomorrow? I was like, oh, I'm getting interviewed. He's like,
Who cares?
were you gonna mention?
Yeah. We definitely don't tell our husbands the most important thing sometimes because we just kind of roll with it. I know, it happens. So awesome. So I want to hear, it's funny because I know about you, but then you and I had talked briefly before we even started the interview, and you are growing so much. So do me a favor, tell people who you are, what you do, and what makes you awesome.
Yeah, so I'm Nicole Hallberg. I'm a writer. I'm a copywriter. Most of what I do now is B2B for small to mid-sized businesses, folks who are selling to other businesses, business services and things like that. For the most part, a lot of blog posts, a lot of web copy, and it's all content marketing. It's all helping folks. It's more about nurturing leads than the way you would traditionally. Like, I don't write brochures. I don't tend to write ads for folks. I'm not coming up with the Peloton ad lady, like.
Did you hear? What's your opinion on that? Can we step away?
Blink twice if you need help,
Yeah,
lady.
right.
Like, what is life?
Does anybody know what that event? Not that I'm talking to an audience here, but there's that ad was creepy and crazy. It's only 30 seconds, and I think every marketing director on that ad is screaming right now.
I was like, who did you run this past?
Males.
Who was in the?
Males ran it. Yeah, too much. Anyway, so
I'm responsible for none of those shenanigans. Like, none of that. I write content. So the difference being, like, it's often cheaper to produce. You know, you'd pay someone like me rather than an agency, and then you need a designer, and then you're distributing, and then the ads runs for however much time, and then it comes down. But when you buy like a blog post from me, you have that forever. You can turn it into more content. You can reshare it in a year because it's up on your site. It's always there. You're getting the Google juice from when it posts. You can aggregate a bunch of them together and do an ebook, which I've done, and then offer that as like a free downloadable and say, give me your email address. Now you have a list. So it's less about buy this from me right now,
right,
and more about here's some value. I'm going to teach you how to do something cool, or I'm going to give you my opinion about something as the professional, as the business leader.
So is there a coaching piece to these service offerings, or is it just like they hire you to get it done and then you kind of guide them into the right direction?
Some of my clients are like, this is exactly what I want. Some of them are like, just send me the post. Like, I trust you, you get it. They don't even know what it's going to be about until I send them the finished piece, and they're like, done. They just post it.
So what makes, it's because content is king right now. Obviously, content's been king for a while. So when you're working with clients, when they call you, what problem are they typically having?
They want more, they need a bigger audience. They might not have the budget to be putting a ton of money into a pay-per-click campaign, or they're not buying billboards. A lot of my clients are smaller businesses. Some of the ones that are larger businesses, those would be the professionals, the business service providers, marketing consultants,
right,
PR,
They need the foundation in order to be able to share it.
Right.
Okay.
Well, they don't care about the Google juice. They don't have clients finding them by Googling, I need a PR guy.
Yeah.
They're not dropping 10 grand with a guy they found randomly on Google. They're
Right.
going to their friends and saying, do you know someone named PR? And they'll say, oh, I've heard of this guy. Because his stuff is on LinkedIn all the time.
Right.
And he's putting out these great articles, and people are responding and engaging. So then they'll go check out his site. the lights need to be on. They need to show that she's an expert in her field, that she knows what she's talking about. I'm ghostwriting it.
So when you're working with your clients, though, what can they expect from you?
A lot. What they expect is it needs to be the pieces that we put out need to be really polished. It needs to sound like it came from them. That's something I'm very good at. And
Yeah,
I enjoy.
how do you do that? How do you make it sound like, because you're quirky, I'm quirky, and sometimes our sass factor is a little higher than most. So how do you either tone that down or ramp that up?
I listen to them talk.
Oh.
I don't even look at, if they have writing, I'll read it, but a lot of folks don't, especially if they're not coming from this background, they're not writers. Some of them are brilliant writers. They just don't have the time. They hire me instead. But they write in a more stilted way than they speak. So I listen to them speak, and I'm a very fast typer. I did some transcription back when I was more poor. And I would so I'm transcribing as they're speaking, and I'm also putting notes about, she's a total firecracker. She is disrupting this industry in this way. He is very annoyed by A, B, C, D. Family is really important to him. Put in an anecdote. So I've got all those notes, and I've got, as they're writing, and because I do this so much, I can pick up on, it'll be a sentence. Like, a lot of it will be, I could write the same kind of post for two people, and maybe only 2 or 3 sentences would even need to be different to make it sound like them. There's a little quirk, there's a kind of word that they use, a kind of phrasing, and tone. I'm always making notes about tone, so that now when I give my writers an assignment, I'll have already spent 2 hours on the phone with this client, and I've got a little intake sheet that gets them thinking about their business. And I'll say, he is to the point, he's brusque, there's no fluff in the way he speaks. And some of the opinions might even be controversial or brunt or brusque because he's an expert and he knows and he's been doing this for 30 years. She is also to the fact, but polished, really polished. She's got the, SAT 10,000, the 10-cent words throughout it. This person is warm and they're friendly and they're a neighborhood company. Their neighbors know them and they're providing all of this content, all this expertise, but it's delivered in the way your neighbor would deliver it.
And so when you're working with clients, though, I'm sure your bandwidth gets kind of locked down because if you're writing all of these things. So you've been growing so much. So tell me more about the growth.
Oh gosh. So
you're becoming your own little agency, man. Little agency that good. So you have other people that work with you?
Yes.
Okay. So talk about your team.
They're subs. What I'm doing with them is I'm trying to give them the opportunities that I wanted and needed when I was them. Because I started as a freelancer. I started working for somebody else's startup, and I was churning through and like putting in crazy hours. And I said, he owned these blogs, and I was like, teach me to do it. I'll do it for you for free. I'll stay late, do it for you for free. Show me what you're doing, and I did. So I was super driven to do that at the time. It was like all I wanted. Then when I got out, I was like, no one's gonna take a chance on me. Like I didn't want to go to an agency. I was kind of done. And my husband said, you've been talking about being your own business owner for years. And why is it? I was like, yeah, someday I'd love to do that. He's like, why not today? He's like, we don't have a mortgage. We have this cat to feed. We have no kids. If you're gonna screw it up, now's a great time. I was like, yeah. I don't know what the hell I was doing. But then I met other people and I'm like, oh, they don't either. Oh, no one knows what they're doing. The rules are made up and the points don't matter.
But you, after, how long have you been in business?
I started in 2013, I think was when I brought on my first client.
Okay, so you've been in business for a bunch of years now. So you've taken it from the freelancer position to the business owner and now to the team leader and the leadership development, I would assume, with your team. So what are the specific services? I know that you have a bunch of things that you do, but what is your niche? Like, what can you do in your sleep?
That's a great question. The personal branding stuff.
Talk about that.
So those folks that they don't care as much about the traffic, they need to show that they're experts. I love writing that stuff.
What do you mean by writing that stuff? So are you writing blogs, are you writing like Instagram posts or doing the social media bit to that? So tell me more about, like, someone buys a personal branding package, what does that include?
So like one of my clients right now, it's a package. He'll kind of just call me up to say, hey, I want to do this. Can you make it happen? I'm like, I can sure as hell try.
Yeah.
And we'll figure those things out together. But yeah, it's blog posts. So I'll put a post out a month or something. Again, we're not trying to churn up SEO stuff. We're putting out longer, really high quality pieces. I don't do churn. I'm not a content mill. I don't want to be a content mill because you can scale that way.
Right.
I could, I've got 4 writers right now. I could hire 20. But now I'm like Upwork does that.
Yeah.
I don't need to be Upwork.
I was going to ask you about the Upwork and Fiverr. How is that helping, or how's that hurting your business?
It doesn't really affect my business.
Nice.
I know a lot of people think it does, but I kind of leapfrogged over it.
Yeah.
It was because of a great piece of advice I got really early on. I was reading a ton of blog posts from bloggers that were helping other bloggers get started, and someone was like, you don't need to compete there. That is a race to the bottom. Charge more from the get-go. Offer something better from the get-go, and you don't need to compete with all of these brand newbies that are just desperate for a chance, so they'll write a post for $25, 10, 15. That's what people on Fiverr are looking for. So I'm like, if that's what you want, if you want to post, if you want 100 posts for $20 to fill out your calendar for the year, that's fine. God bless you. Go do it.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. That's not an illegitimate way to do what you're trying to do.
Right.
That's not who I serve. That's not who I ever tried to serve.
So who are the clients that you have that well, obviously you love all your clients, but is there a specific industry you love working in?
That's a really
and
good
writing
question.
for? Yeah.
Believe
That's
it or
just
not,
fun. Yeah.
Believe it or not, I love all the different, I've written about some crazy stuff,
Like
man.
what?
I've written about like the ignition interlock devices that you blow into. I help
Sorry.
write sales
What?
copy.
God bless you. What? What was that?
If you pick up enough DUIs, they will make you blow into a thing before your car starts.
Oh yeah.
I've written-
that little thing that makes you put
I've
people
written
in
like
jail.
a post comparing like the top models.
Yeah.
I've written about ballet shoes. I've written about a lot of personal fitness posts were really
Really?
fun because I now know more about like strength training, and I got to barter with that guy. So now I'm like,
Super jacked.
oh, could you not? Were you not intimidated?
Well, when we return, we're gonna learn about Nicole's super jacked ways and how to be able to work through content and how to build content. But I also am really curious to see how you, because primarily work from home, how you network, and her best tactical tips and practical takeaways. So when we return, you will learn all about that. Stay tuned.
Powered, delicious, and great on the go. And that's perfect for me.
Thanks, Liz.
A woman without a lot of time.
Whether you're a gourmet cook or just want to eat like one, visit Rostelli Market Fresh, your home for the freshest, locally sourced ingredients to please everyone who loves great food. Our organic meats, quality seafood, and free-range poultry are cut fresh to order. Chefs create culinary-inspired prep foods made fresh every day, which pair nicely with our vast selection of fine wines and spirits. Choose from handmade pastas, artisan cheeses, organic produce, and grocery items, all from the finest purveyors. Rostelli Market Fresh, from our family to yours.
RVN TV is a platform for people of any industry to share their story. Over 285,000 viewers are tuning in to RVN TV shows monthly. We guarantee a great experience that you'll be sharing with everyone you know while increasing your personal and company's brand awareness. But what is your brand? According to Forbes, it's a combination of your logo, your product, your design and feel, and your personality. Did you know that aside from being a guest, we offer even more opportunity to boost your brand? Adding your company logo and website on screen during your interview will allow viewers to recognize your brand instantly. Incorporating images and video clips is another great way to showcase your product during your live segment. Let viewers see how good you really are. And most importantly, there's you and your interview. For less than the cost of a newspaper, direct mail, or a magazine ad, you can leave our studio.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to Connect to Success with me, Ashley Owens, 12:30 and 1 o'clock on Thursdays during your lunch break. And we have the amazing and talented Nicole Hallberg, who does content creation and apparently does sword fighting on the weekends. You guys missed a whole conversation. Anyway, we're here, and what I find really interesting about your story is that it's so common among so many people, right? So you start as a freelancer, you get the confidence to build your own thing, then all of a sudden you're growing, you're like, oh my God, I'm really good at this, and then you figure it out as you go, just like every business owner, and don't let anybody tell you that that's not the case, because it is. So when you are working with your clients, and when you are finding clients, and when you are finding people to collaborate with, especially in the very beginning when it's super little lonely as you're trying to navigate through those murky waters. So tell me what did you start with when it came to either looking for clients or networking? Because again, it's sales and networking are two different things. So take me through your process and what your networking strategy kind of looked like.
In the very beginning.
Yeah, and then talk about how it is now.
In the very beginning, I was looking for every meetup I could find. I was looking for the events.
Yeah.
Now I have more invites. I'm like, yes, no, yes, yes. But at first, I was going to everything I could, and I went to a lot of those buy a ticket, happy hour type things.
Like a business card exchange type thing?
Yeah, network after work. Like,
sorry. Just vomited a little bit.
Same.
Hard no.
Hard same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you the text I got from someone who took a business card from me.
No. We talked about this before you got here too.
Oh God.
On the call, remember the other day? I don't want to talk about it. I think we've all been proposed at least once to have like a network afterwards.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, no,
yeah, it is not fit for TV.
Nope.
So I was going to a bunch of...
your children. Go ahead, continue.
So I was going to a bunch of those and was doing the thing everybody does. Here's my card, here's my card, here's my card. And it felt weird and gross and transactional because it was obvious. I was like, hi, can you hire me? No.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave as politely as I can. And they were doing the same thing. Yeah. And I was like, this feels gross. It feels gross of me to be doing this.
Yeah.
And then people were being just literally super gross.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I realized these folks, a lot of them don't even want to talk about work. This is their after work. They're at the bar. They want to drink and be with their friends, and that's not sustainable.
No. So
I was totally done with it. And then I joined PowerMatch, and I was like, oh, there can be a different world here.
Can you explain to the audience what PowerMatch is?
Yes. Sarah Rosenberg, who's amazing, well, you'll join this group, and you tell her everything about who you're looking for and who you want to meet and what you want to do. And she matches you up in little groups of 3, which is kind of brilliant because it's not weirdly... Not that it's weird to be, but one-on-one, there's less pressure. It's just a conversation between 3 people, and you'll go to a coffee shop and you'll just chat and you'll figure out how you can help each other. And she's so adamant about, we're not prospecting, you are not pitching to these people, you're not selling to these people, don't let me catch you doing it. And I was like, oh, there's a different way that this can be done.
Right.
So as I grew, I realized that a lot of what I needed wasn't to sell to the person I was talking to. They had referrals. If they liked me, and I was helping them, they would just give me the referrals.
And vice versa.
It was just happening, you know? I didn't need to always be closing. I get that mindset, I do, but in the business I'm in, again, I don't have 20 writers and 400 clients.
Right.
I have 4 writers and 10 or 12 clients that we give really white glove service to.
Yeah.
That we get them inside and out. They can call my cell, they can text me.
Right.
That's what I'm doing. So I realized that relied on relationships. And then I realized, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, but a lot of these brilliant people do. I needed to learn, and I was just rabid for like any little tidbits of information. How did you do that? Oh, you went from a freelancer to an agency? How did you do it? Tell me everything. What is your CRM? What is a CRM?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah.
A VA, did you hire one? Did you not? How did it go? So what I've started doing on meetings now, when they ask, how can I help you? I'll say, this is what I'm trying to learn. Do you know anyone who knows it?
Yeah.
Do you know any resources? Do you know any way I can go? I asked somebody that yesterday.
Yeah, what'd you ask for?
I asked, I can't remember his name, but I was like, what the heck did I ask him about? I can't remember now.
That's okay.
Oh, LinkedIn. I was like, hey, I need to up my game on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because I sell so much LinkedIn marketing now. I was like, we're putting out good content, but I think I can be more strategic about it. Do you know anybody doing that? And he was like, oh, here's 3 names.
Yeah. Yeah. First thing
That's a great day
But
for me.
you know what's even better about that too is that now you've got a full list of people that you can have the ask for, right? You're asking for the help, and you know if they need help from you, you are 100% willing to give it. That's half the networking group that you're building. This whole group of champions of people that will go to bat for you and help you out if you need it. Like that's a big, like people sometimes I don't think understand when it comes to networking. The always be closing thing is just a very sales tactic, right? It's very transactional. But for you and me, we're not aggressive people to like close everything because it's not how we feel comfortable in our businesses. It's very against the grain, and that against the grain is scary. And then it has to be unlearned and then relearned into a better opportunity.
That's the hardest thing to educate my clients about.
Yeah.
Because one of them said to me the other day, how do we do sales? We need to always be closing. I said, no, you don't.
No.
I said, no, you don't. I said, let me ask you something. Have you ever sought out an ad, or do you pay more on every platform to not see them? How many times have you paid for something to get rid of the ads?
Right.
no one wants to see your ads. No one wants to be sold to. I was like, give them the content that, like, I'm like, what do you interact with? You already know the answer to this because you're already doing it. Give them what you like to see, because guess what? It's not going to be that different.
Right.
So I tell them, I'm like, we're writing out these posts and not asking for a sale at the end. We'll ask
There's
them
a call to
take
action.
step,
Yeah, there's a call to action, but it's not like buy
but
this thing,
that
buy
step
that
is
thing.
not click this button and buy this thing.
No,
You're not
yeah.
transactional. You need a relationship. These people are dropping $10,000, $20,000 contracts with you.
It's a longer sell. It's
Yes.
it's a longer pipeline, meaning that there is nurturing those relationships, but it's also coming, and the best way to close, I mean, to typically close them if it's coming from a referral, somebody that they already trust. So like you're not, now again, cold calling does work on some avenues, but depending on the industry, there's a nurturing involvement that has to be calculated a little bit more strategically before you can just say, well, I'm going to close. Some pipelines will close faster than others just because of the nature of what you're doing, and everything's organic and everything grows. So there is a process involved, but the 85% of it is making sure that the person feels that by the time they get to you and close, they already know, like, and trust you.
Yes.
So tell me more about your, so I know you're joining PowerMatch. How much networking are you doing online? Is it more you're trying to work through LinkedIn?
I like to do face-to-face networking for my own business.
Yeah.
I'll always move it to a phone call and move it to an in-person meeting when I can. It's hard to have chemistry with a person over a call. You can do it.
Yeah.
But if you see someone's excited and they're animated and
Yeah.
like, it's hard to describe. Chemistry, I think, often happens in a face-to-face meeting.
It works for you. I mean, like, you're building your own clientele. Of course you're going to pick the ones that make sense, that will work well
Right.
with you. Yeah.
And there's a lot of folks that I'll meet, again, at some networking thing, when I'm like, I know that we're never going to talk again, and that is 100% okay. We didn't click, you know, maybe you think I'm loudmouth, and maybe I dropped 4 more F-bombs, and you were comfortable hearing in this conversation, and I think that story is funny, and you just wonder why I didn't pick up a misdemeanor from doing that.
Yeah.
So maybe you don't get me and we don't get you, and that's 100% fine.
Yeah.
I've learned that, to find the people that are like, that's a hilarious crime that you may or may not have committed. And
Oh my God, I have to tell me the story afterwards. So, okay, so when you're giving and you're talking to your clients, so who are your strategic partners? Who do you work well with? Who do you collaborate with the best?
the people that their clients need copy, so anybody that builds websites and anybody
Okay.
that does SEO,
Okay.
those folks, when they're a certain size, I work with some big agencies for like some overflow work, and that'll be a nice project every once in a while, but the people I have relationships with, long-standing, will be the smaller digital marketers, where if they didn't have their client hire somebody to do it, they have to write it themselves.
Yeah.
And now it's a nightmare, because that clogs up projects. Your site is built, give me the copy, it's lorem ipsum. And I've seen websites fall apart for that reason all the time. They're waiting on the client for the copy, and they miss each other, and both people are pissed. So they will go to their client and say, hey, I have a writer, talk to her, see if you want her to do your site. Or sometimes they'll just be like, this is the writer that's going to be doing your site, and this is the extra, and they just build it right into their price, and I just invoice them.
Nice.
So yeah, anybody that does SEO, anybody that does websites, they need copy all the time.
Because they're building the platform, they're building the UI, right? The user interface, and then the UX behind
Yeah,
it. Okay.
they can make it pretty. That's something I find really often. Those analytical minds that love the puzzle of getting the site to work, or are creative in the way that they love making the site look nice, they don't often also love to write copy. I'm the word nerd, so I cannot make it look pretty.
The word nerd, that should be your title from now on. Can you please add that into your tagline on LinkedIn?
Oh my God.
Word nerd.
Go bill me for that big consultation, that branding.
That's great, dude. So, okay, so give me your top 3 tips when networking in your industry.
That's an excellent question. One silly thing I do is, so I always have my hair down when I'm networking, because people remember this.
The hair, yeah.
I've been to conferences before and had women say, I saw you on the plane. And I was like,
That's so weird.
I don't know who the hell you are. Or I'll go to a conference the 2nd or 3rd year and be like, oh, hey, they remember me.
Wow.
So my hair's down on my business cards. I have that one little accent, just like you do with your
Yeah,
eyes and your lips.
the lips, yeah. Well, it's also, first of all, black and white's also cheaper to print. And my weight fluctuates so much, so I wear a lot of black, so it's kind of like I didn't have to like put a purple or a yellow on. So
That's
just cheap,
brilliant.
lazy and cheap. That's really what
That's
came of it.
brilliant.
But your hair is your thing, and I think everyone.
my
I
thing.
mean, to your point, I think the tip would be find your thing, your differentiator, maybe visually. Yeah.
Another thing I do is, I kind of think of it as parroting. There's probably a better way to say it, but I try to listen very carefully when they talk, and I'll pick up, they mentioned their family, or they mentioned, or when I'm on a discovery call with a client, you know, and we're not in bed together yet, there's no contract, there's no anything, but they'll tell you what their pain point is, and you can get them talking. People want to vent about the crap that bugs them. They want to talk about their business. They're proud of it. They'll tell you what's happening. So I will repeat, almost verbatim sometimes, a phrase that they gave me to signal that I was listening and that I get it. So they'll get done, they'll go for 5 minutes straight. I've got this, and I was frustrated by this, and et cetera, and I really just want blah, blah, blah. And at the end I'll go, okay, so basically, you're looking to get into this new market, but it's a new market, and your audience isn't very educated, and there's a really low barrier to entry, so there's a lot of other competition that are kind of affecting your reputation. Is that about it? And they'd be like, yes.
Yeah.
And all I did was literally repeat what they just said, but just summarized in an intelligent way that shows I was listening, I heard you, and I'll put that in a proposal. I will 2 or 3 words, an exact phrase that they used with me. And that little parroting thing, people do it when they talk to each other. They don't realize it's a back of brain thing, because I've studied this, and I write this, and I look at words, and I write words all day long. I can see it. But yeah, people do that. The same way when you're talking to someone with an accent, sometimes you will start, that accent will creep into your thing. It's a superhuman thing. It's how you make connections. You're mirroring each other, showing like, we're together, I get you, I'm with you. You're forming a community and forming a group with that person.
Yep.
That is like invaluable. Active listening skills with my little squirrel brain. It's like, that's the other thing. Having to be like, I'm sorry, my phone can you repeat that?
Yeah.
Really, my cat did a funny thing, and my brain was like,
So can you do me a favor? Because we're all done now. Yes. Oh my God, can you look into that camera and tell people how they can find you and use all of your services?
Yeah, so you can see my portfolio and find my service, just my name, NicoleHallberg.com. I'm on Twitter. My Twitter is not safe for work or life or business, so.
Email and phone number, please.
Email is just writing@NicoleHallberg.com. My number is 845-545-4674. You can talk, and I'm always just happy to chat about your content.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Nicole. Oh my God, you're the best. So much fun. Thank you everybody for watching Connected Success on Thursdays during your lunch break. I'm your host, Ashey Owens, where we talk to the power networkers in the greater Philadelphia and South Jersey area. If you'd like to come on the show, please let me know. Ashey@asheyassist.com. And we will see you next week. Thanks so much.